So now we got to take the car back to the dealership because there's actually a customer that wants to check it out. So we're going to get this back a little bit sooner than we planned. So I'm getting ready to leave now. Here is our predicament though. The portable charger that came with the Tesla, it worked fine the first night, but then after that, I haven't been able to get it to work properly. So we haven't been able to charge it. And we used it at a couple Superchargers just to try it out, but we didn't know that we weren't going to be able to charge, so we didn't charge it all the way full. Here is our predicament. It's suggesting an 82-mile range, and we have about 85 miles to get back to the Heller Ford dealership where we borrowed this car from. So I have to make a decision. That decision is, do I drive 45 minutes to a Supercharger, put in enough energy, maybe take 15 minutes, 20 minutes tops, and then go over to the dealership? Or do I just drive over to a closer level 2 charger that charges at about 30 miles per hour and sit there for about a half an hour or so to get enough to get me back to the dealership? So I'm off about 3 miles, and I know not everybody goes and follows the guessometer, but Tesla generally is pretty decent and pretty close on theirs. If anybody wants to see the percentage, this is the percentage we're at. We are at 33% and have to go 85 miles to get it back to the dealership. Plus, I don't want to leave it completely dead because then they've got to charge it for the customer, and I don't, you know, that way we don't have to worry about that. They can just take it out and drive it and it'll be fine. I want to have at least a decent amount of power there for them. So that is my predicament right now. I am kind of leaning on going over and sitting at the destination charger for a while, but it's like, do I want to sit there for a half an hour or an hour and then drive over, or just use the that same amount of time to drive over, supercharge for 15 minutes, and then drive to the dealership? That way I'm not just sitting and waiting. So I will let you know what I decide when I get there. Okay, so my decision was to use the destination charger because I went on PlugShare, and what I found out was this will actually charge, I think, up to like 65 amps or something like that, where like our ID4 only charges at 48, so that's like 32 miles per hour, and this 65 or 68 or whatever amps that this one is should get us around 40 to 50 miles per hour. So that might shorten the time than actually driving an hour or 45 minutes over to a Supercharger. So we're gonna plug in and see what rate we get. So we are at 65 miles to go, and it's about 73 miles to the charger now. So we are gonna charge up to probably around 90 to 95 just because we have to hit the interstate. And that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna hook into this destination charger at the Hampton Inn in Mount Zion, Illinois, and we'll be sitting here for probably about a half an hour or so. So I ended up changing my mind. I was at the destination charger and it was only charging at 24 miles per hour, so it was a 40 amp max. On the screen it said that it was a up to 68 amps or something like that, and it wasn't. It went, maximum was 40 amps, so I was gonna have to sit there for well over an hour, probably to get enough to get to the dealership. So I'm just gonna run over to the Supercharger. So it's gonna be about an hour drive or 45-minute drive there, and then we will get charged up and head over to the dealership. It'll just be better just to be driving instead of just sitting and waiting forever. So we're just gonna do that. So I will see you when we get there. Okay, we were heading to the Supercharger, and I know we got about a 15-mile buffer according to the guessometer, but I wanted to show some of you guys some of the percentage that we're at. We've got about 8 miles left to go, and we are at 8% on our battery charge. So that's pretty interesting. And the downfall to this is because of this battery, 12-volt battery needs to be replaced, and they won't do an update before that. We don't have any navigation, so we can't turn on like preconditioning to get to the charger. So we're just kind of going off of the Google Maps, and we're gonna head in there. It says we got 6 miles left to go, and we should pull in there with probably about maybe 4%, 5% left on battery, and then we'll see how fast this charges. From what I understand is that these peaked out at 90 kilowatts. So we'll have to see what happens. I don't know if maybe they got higher with a update over the years, but these first model S's, from what I understand, were 90 kilowatts. So we'll have to see what kind of charge we're pulling. Okay guys, we are pulling into the Tesla Superchargers and we are at 2%. How about that? We made it. Got 2% battery left. And let's see how fast we can get this thing to charge. I know battery is very low. So let's go get it plugged in. All right. So I'm gonna take that down, walk over, press the button, opens up, stick it in there. Talking, let's get charging, come on. Ooh, there we go, green, we're charging. Let's see what we got going on in here. Okay, it's powering up. 70, 80, 82, 83 kilowatts. All right, well, it looks like we're at 83 kilowatts. Check it here in a minute. Gonna go into Meyer real quick. We shouldn't be here very long. We just need to get enough to get to the dealership. We're at 84 kilowatts. Oh, 85. So it might, as the battery warms up a little bit, it should be pretty warm, but we'll see what happens. We might actually get up to 90, but it looks like it's probably not gonna go any higher than that. Okay, I went inside, came back out, and it looks like we've got 88 kilowatts. So, well, and then it says plus 9 kilowatt hour. I'm not sure what that is, but 88 kilowatts is maxing out at. We're at 15% already, and it's only been a few minutes. So it's about an hour and 10 minutes to max out this battery. You probably see the timestamp down here, it says 2:15. Probably see that I was only gone for about 5 minutes approximately, but we're at 15%. I'll go ahead and I'll switch this over to miles for some people, or distance. And so that gave us 38 miles of range right now. So that's going to pick up very quickly to see how much charge we need to get to the dealership, and then we'll get out of here. Okay, so it looks like it's going to take about 70 miles to get to the dealership. Probably made a crucial little error there. I was at the destination charger. I had about 60 miles of range. I needed about 70, I think it was 71, 72 miles, something like that. So I really only needed about 5 or 6 extra miles. And if I would have stayed there, could have been a half an hour, maybe 40 minutes, had enough, plenty of enough to get where I needed to go. But I thought, well, let's go run over to the Supercharger. I just thought it would be better than sitting there for an hour. Well, it took about 50 minutes to drive over here, and I got here with 3%. Now I've had to charge, and it's going to take me another 70 miles to go to the dealership because it's farther away than what I thought. So make sure you guys plan your trips out, look ahead to your stops so that you don't make that mistake that I made. I could have sat there for the hour, got the 24 miles of range, and then been on my way, but now I've driven for 45 minutes, and now I've got to drive another about an hour to get over to the dealership. So, you know, you just got to think about what you want to do, but that was a mistake I made, so you might want to watch that. All right, so we have been here about a half an hour. We are at 107 miles of range now, and it's been charging. It's down to 72 kilowatts. It was up to 88, and you know, we're not even quite halfway. So we're at 44%, and it's already, the speed's already starting to drop down to 70 kilowatts. So we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. We got plenty enough to get to the dealership. Okay, so I got to the dealership, and there was a customer who really wanted to look at the car, so I had to just kind of get out, grab my stuff, and let the dealer, you know, do his thing. I hope this gave you guys a lot of insight, and maybe one of the videos that's up here or here, I'm sure you're going to enjoy. See you later.